Hey guys, my name is Baxter and this is Lane Norton, and today we're about to talk about a contest prep diet in light of the upcoming WBFF Fitness Diva show that I'll be doing in November at the end of the year. There is going to be a huge series on this, so this will be like is it 18 weeks because we're 18 weeks roughly of information of how to actually diet correctly for a contest.
Yes.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot covered over the next few weeks, so I would definitely encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and Lane's as well, because we're going to be promoting and discussing everything to do with dieting and dieting successfully. So where do we even start?
Well, I think, I'm so glad you asked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now I get to sell something.
Now I know where you're going.
Yeah. Well, I think, the way I wrote my book, The Complete Contest Prep Guide, was exactly in this way. It was, okay, this is where we start. So we're going to start with, all right, where do we need to, how much weight are you going to have to lose? How much fat are you going to have to lose?
Yep.
And then go from there and then determine how many calories, what deficit you're going to require, and then determine your macros. So, I think we can just sit down and kind of get into this and dig into it, because we're going to basically use the book to prep you. That
was exactly what I was going to say. We are using the Complete Guide to Contest Prep from start to finish. So if you haven't seen it or heard of this book, we're going to put it in the links below so you can check that out. We might even put a little screen grab so you can just go straight to it. But that's essentially how we're going to prep me for this show. And we'll probably cover some of the more intricate details as the series progresses. So let's go do it. Okay, so we're just pulling up the Complete Contest Prep Guide right now so you can kind of see what it looks like and where it actually tells you to start. So that's exactly what we're going to do, because this is what you do.
Yeah. So just go here. Actually, there's shortcuts, so we'll just go to determine calorie intake. Yep. So I'm going to skip down a little bit. There's a lot of information here.
Oh, wow.
But basically, it talks about, like, if you lose weight, how much is coming from body fat and how much is likely to come from muscle. Or, sorry, not muscle, but lean body mass, which is not the same thing. And basically, it's about a 70-30 based on the contest prep studies that we have. And here, actually, I break down all these studies in here. And it shows that essentially your amount of lean body mass you lose is about 28 to 29%, so roughly 30% of your weight you're going to lose is going to be from lean body mass. Now, that's not the same thing as muscle. A lot of people hear lean body mass and they think muscle, but lean body mass is all non-fat tissues, intestines, bone, liver, heart, hair, skin, nails, and everything. If it's not fat, it's lean body mass. And that also includes fluid. And you lose a lot of fluid when you diet. Heck, the first week you lose lean body mass because you lose a lot of water. So just keep that in mind when you see this, that may seem like a really extreme amount of lean body mass, but it's really not that bad. And that's actually the norm for natural bodybuilders.
Yeah.
So
also, someone is already going to be sitting there at home going, why do we lose so much fluid? Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, well, first off, you have about 800 grams-ish of glycogen your body can store between your liver and your muscle. And with that glycogen, you store about 2.7 grams of water. So if you, like for example, if you completely depleted your glycogen, which is likely not to happen, but if you did, well, that's 800 grams of water. Then you add on the fact, you multiply that by 2.7, that's 16, that's about 3,000 grams of, that's 3 kilos you could lose potentially from just water, from just intracellular water. So that's a massive amount of weight. Now, you're not going to lose that much because we're not going to put you on 0 carbs and have you do a bunch of cardio.
Hell no.
So, but there is some that's going to come off, and you know this. Like when you start dieting, you usually drop a kilo very quickly.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that lean body mass includes your body water that you lose, and that's a big part of the lean body mass loss we see with contest prep. But we have to account for this. Most people just they say, well, I need to lose 8 kilos, and it's all going to be body fat. Yeah, and that's just not true. So if you need to lose 8 kilos of body fat, it means that you actually need to lose a lot more of body weight.
I think that's a mistake that a lot of kind of inexperienced or new coaches tend to make a mistake of when they start to calculate like rate of loss. Or they're just looking at the person's weight. Oh, okay, well, you're currently 70 kilos and you've got to get to 60. All right, we've just got to lose 10 kilos of fat. Pretty simple. Well, no, it's not quite like that.
So if you look at it, I have this flow chart here. If you lost, like, if you need to lose, for example, 360 grams of weight per week, about 257 of that is going to be body fat. About 103 grams of that is going to be lean body mass. Since body fat or adipose is about 87% lipid, that is 224 grams of lipid. Lipid is 9 calories per gram. That equates to 2,016 calories. Because we need to turn the weight amount into a calorie amount so we know how much to take off. So lean body mass is about 70% water, 30% protein. So if we take that 103 gram amount, multiply it by 0.3, we get 31 grams of protein we lose. Protein is 4 calories per gram, 124 calories. We combine these two numbers, the calorie deficit required to lose 360 grams of weight per week is about 2140, okay? That equates over 7 days to 306 calories per day. Okay.
So we're actually going to apply these kind of principles into the amount of weight that I've got to lose per week during my dieting weeks.
Right, and we've done the calculation. So this is a table I have set up. If you don't want to go through all the math that's in here.
Yeah, there's a lovely table.
Yeah, there's a quick and dirty reference table here that you can go to where it shows, okay, how much weight do you need to lose per week? And I talk about how to calculate that in the book in detail. And you can just go, okay, I need to lose 0.7 kilos per week. Boom, 593 calorie per day deficit on average, because some people do high and low calorie days.
And keep in mind as well, you've got to consider metabolic adaptation as well. So that's something. Have you already factored that into these calculations?
Well, you can't really factor that in because you can only adjust when it happens.
Yeah, that's something else that you need to be considerate of during your competition prep.
And we'll discuss that when it comes up, but. That hadn't happened yet, because you haven't started dieting yet.
No. Hopefully it never happens and I just keep dropping.
Yeah, that's very unlikely.
I mean, that will happen.
Sometimes it does happen, but it's very unlikely. Less likely to happen with the other thing we're going to talk about is, so basically you have 17 weeks until stage. However, we are going to only be dieting for a total of 12 weeks. You're going to be in a deficit for 12 weeks. We're going to do 5 diet breaks for 1 week.
Yeah.
And this is from new research from the Matador study, as well as Bill Campbell's lab, as well as actually a lot of research has come out of Australia. So go Aussies.
Yeah, my university.
What these diet breaks do essentially is you're going to eat at maintenance, okay, and that basically helps prevent the metabolic slowing and metabolic adaptation we see with dieting. It also helps preserve lean body mass.
Yeah, so when you start to increase your weight loss past the point of, say, 1%, 1.2%, you're increasing the likeliness of more of that weight that you're losing coming from actual lean muscle mass or lean body mass. So it's really fortunate that we have a good amount of time, and that's why I'm starting this diet prep so early in the year. Because it's going to help to maximize the amount of muscle that I can retain during that prep. Now previously, in my last contest prep diet, we didn't have that ability. There was just not enough time. So we did a continuous diet, and Lane and I were chatting about this just the other day. I said, like, we had maybe 12 weeks, I think, maybe even less, to diet me down for my October show, and it was a continuous deficit, and I know that I lost so much muscle from my legs. I was probably also doing a little bit of incorrect training as well. So there's going to be a lot of things that are you going to yawn? There's a lot of things that we can do differently this time. Sorry, I'm boring.
She's a savage.
There's a lot of things we can do differently this time to actually bring a much better outcome. So I'll have a better physique this time, which is super exciting.
Yeah, and I've been trying diet breaks on clients for about a year now, and have been having some pretty good results with people. Yeah. So I think that this is going to be a really big benefit for you. So we've already done the calculation. So we know there's only 12 weeks of dieting. We know what your overall calorie deficit we require, because you got to lose about 7.8 kilos.
Yeah.
We know that the overall calorie deficit required for losing 7.8 kilos is...
I think it was about 600.
46,000 calories is the overall deficit for the entire diet.
Yeah.
If we divide that by 12 weeks of dieting, the weekly deficit is 38.35, because remember, those diet break weeks are going to be at maintenance,
yeah.
so not positive or negative.
Yeah.
and then we divide that by 7 days.
So every day I need to be in a 547.
548.
Okay, you rounded, right. 548 calorie deficit to achieve that. Now, hopefully, I don't have to go quite that aggressive. It'll be super nice, but that's where we're going to start. And if I drop more than my required target, we can probably bring it up more a little bit in the second week. So, do you want to get stuck into the actual table now?
Yeah. So we'll show macros as well, but let's show them your Excel sheet here because you can see how you've got things set up. So
all right, let's look at the juicy stuff.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to point out here is, so it's 548 calorie deficit per day on average, but she is going to do one high carb day or one high calorie day per week. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is she typically kind of likes having every day the same because she doesn't have to think, but we have a lot of things we would like to keep our lifestyle to have maybe a date night. I don't know, maybe once every 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm putting my personal grievances in the video, you know. We would also like to, you know, if we go out with friends or there's a trip or something like that, to have that 1 day per week, and that's a floating day. She can
have that any day.
She can have it on whatever day she wants, one time a week, and so because of that, because it's a day close to maintenance. Her other days are actually a little bit more aggressive on calories. I think it's like a 623 calorie deficit per diet days during the week.
So just to summarize where I'm starting from, my current weight is 68.8 kilos, I think, on average for the last week. It's been pretty consistent at the end of my reverse diet. I just did 2 weeks of maintenance. And I expect that I'm probably going to need to get down to around 61 kilos for stage weight. That's what I have been previously. This time I'm hoping that I'll have more lean muscle, less body fat, which would be nice. So that's the weight difference, and as Lane's mentioned, 7.8 kilos. My current calorie intakes are at 23, 22. My breakdown of macros currently is 165, 240 and 78 fats, and that's been pretty consistent for the last 2 weeks. So implementing 6 days of lower calories and allowing a high day just to have a bit more flexibility socially and, you know, with travel. I think my average works out to be about, is it 1,700?
So here, we'll just go ahead and show you. So right here is her average starting diet calories, 1,753 per day on average. Now, again, she has one high day a week. And this equates to, we put her maintenance calories at 2,300 because she is maintaining 68.8 calories. You subtract 547 calories from that, and you get 1,753. Now, during her diet days, her average diet day, 6 days per week, is 1,708. 1,708
oh my
calories.
God, I'm gonna die.
Are you finished?
Sorry.
1,708. You realize a lot of girls gain weight on this who are like in really bad metabolisms. You would gain weight on this like 6 months ago. You've been gaining weight on that.
Yeah.
So that equates to 1,708 calories on her diet days, and also on her one high day, she's having 2023. Now, a note about macros, just real quick. We'll go back to the book here. Let me just go to the macros section real quick. One nice thing about this is if you need to get somewhere quickly, just go back to the table of contents. So we put protein, we determined protein. She's 0 to 30 years and she's in a deficit. So usually 2.2 to 2.4 grams per kilo of lean body mass. However, Holly likes a lot of protein. And for reasons of she's just used to eating a lot of protein. Yeah. If we tried to put her protein that low, she would not be compliant. And since compliance is the most important thing, we have to start there. So
I think I'm actually sitting at about 2.7 at the moment, and I noticed that I've been rather generous and taken it down by 5.
Yeah, so her protein is starting at 160 grams per day.
Yeah.
So that means there's 100. If we multiply that by 4, since protein's 4 calories per gram, that gives us 640 calories from protein that's coming out. Mm-hmm. Now, with the remaining approximately 1,000 calories, or 1,068 calories, you can allot that to carbohydrates and fats however you like. People make a big deal about carb and fat breakdown. The fact of the matter is, in every single study where protein and calories are equated, carbohydrate and fat breakdown does not produce any differences in fat loss and body composition. So what that says is great news for you guys. You can choose what you want, and that's why I've laid this table out in the book.
Yeah.
So you're at 1068, which is approximately 1100. Mm-hmm. So the table shows, okay, if you want to do 10% carb, 90% fat, here's your breakdown. 20%, 80%, 30%. So this is percents of remaining calories after you take protein out. So you have about 1,000 calories left to allot.
Down a little bit. So here's 1,000. If I look at these ratios, I know what my personal food choices are. So just looking at this straight away, I probably need to be somewhere around this 50 grams of fats and 89.
That's carbs.
Oh, that's carbs? 50.
Yeah, that's carbs.
Did you calculate that right? Oh, that's on my low day.
Yeah, that's carbs.
Yeah.
So go over here. So you're actually, we chose for her. This table is a quick reference. You can calculate everything yourself. This table is just a quick reference. And she actually liked 55% carbohydrate, 45% fat. So if we go back over here, if you do that calculation, what you get is 150 grams of carbohydrate and 52 grams of fat, approximately. So that's where her 6 days of deficit per week are. Her one high day is at 165 grams of protein, 190 grams of carbohydrate, and 67 grams of fat. Now, I usually take protein down on high days, on high calorie days, because protein needs decrease as calories increase. Why did your protein go up 5 grams?
Because I don't like protein.
So, just want to make it clear.
I just want to have like an extra 10 grams of meat at dinner. So
there's no magic with that. That's just her personal preference, and adherence is the number one thing. So I could say, hey, you're having 150 grams of protein, but if she's not going to adhere to it, then there's no point in doing it.
Mm-hmm. And that's something I've seen. I think a lot of people tend to make the mistake. I've seen this time and time again. Clients are moving over to a new coach, starting up with me. Yourself, you probably experience the same thing. Looking at like a female with my body weight, their protein intake has been set at like 200 plus. Have you seen this? Yeah.
I've seen a girl who was like 70 kilos eating 250 grams of protein a day.
Right, I've seen this as well. And then it leaves next to nothing for their protein, their carbs and fats, and like,
which is what they're on because they're on with bro coaches.
So like the bro coach has done it on a percentage base. So therefore, if the calories are a little higher, it's gonna like.
Actually, they didn't do it on anything base.
Well, they just were like,
took the same meal plan they gave to everybody else and gave it to that person.
Well, which way, one or the other? They're both equally terrible. But yeah, it's just awful. Like people's carbohydrate intakes are down at like 30 grams and fats are like 20, and I'm just sitting there like going, okay, I don't quite understand. And they're telling me like, oh, it was awful. I had to just couldn't have any variety in my diet. I couldn't stick to it. You know, now I've got all these like problems at the end of my contest prep, and yeah, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people tend to make. You know, when setting up their targets. So now you have some accurate information. You can go and recalculate your protein needs and then choose whatever you want for your carbs and fats as long as it's within your calorie needs.
Yeah, so this is our starting point. Based on the calculations from the book, I like this. This is probably where, it's actually definitely where, if I was doing this by hand, this is where you would start at, right around here. Probably protein a little bit lower, but just because I know you and I know how much you like protein. Then here we're going to show basically how we plan to do the weeks in terms of it's going to be 2 weeks dieting, so you see.
Yeah, I've got 2 weeks on diet and then 1 week of break.
And then the diet break. And we're not going to calculate that yet because we don't know what your metabolism is going to be like yet. Mm-hmm. So we use typically the Mueller equation, which pretty much nailed exactly what you're maintaining at right now.
Yeah, it did.
We use the Mueller equation, which you can find in my book, because it's the most accurate equation for calculating calorie needs. And what we're going to do, and what they did in the Matador study, was they didn't use the person's beginning maintenance for the diet breaks. Mm-hmm. They recalculated maintenance every time they did a diet break. So that's how we're going to do it with you. Yeah. Every time she does a diet break, we're going to punch in her lean body mass, her body fat, age, and sex, which are the parameters, and whatever it spits out in terms of the maintenance calories is what she's going to use for that diet break. So this is the most scientifically set up contest prep in the history of contest preps, I think.
I'm gonna win.
We've spent hours just poring over this to try and figure out the best way. So we're going to start here, and we're going to document it every week. And I think you said we're going to put up a picture of your previous contest, so we can see. That was more I guess we could do like way back in the day too, when you did more bro preps, and then when you prepped with me the last time, and then now knowing even more, we both know more. It wasn't a bro prep, but you kind of turned it into a bro prep.
Yeah, I had a bro mentality.
Yeah, she did a lot of cardio, but. And where are you starting with on cardio? That's a good question.
Oh, and training. Well, I will be using the Workout Builder, which is awesome. So I actually have all of my programs available on the Workout Builder if you want to use those.
On bioland.com.
I'm actually going to be picking a hybrid workout. So I really enjoyed powerlifting. So I'm going to keep a lot of the powerlifting movements in my program, and I really enjoy like the challenge. Although I get super angry when I don't hit the same weights every week, but I think I'm just a competitive person. But anyway, I'm going to be doing powerlifting implemented with my bodybuilding work, and perhaps as my contest progresses, I may need to drop some of that out in order to keep up the work density, I guess. But yeah, my cardio, I'll probably start at one 45-minute high intensity interval session per week, and I'm not doing cycle anymore. Because it was giving me hip flexor troubles, so I'm probably going to do like mixed body, kettlebell workouts, sleds, sandbags, all that kind of fun stuff, which I really enjoy and haven't done for a while. So it'll be just 1 45-minute and 5 weight training sessions is what my program is currently. So yeah.
And you're going to keep your low intensity steady state at 135 minutes a week?
Yeah, I've been averaging about 130 minutes a week just with my walks. So for part of my back health or prehab, Lay and I both do about 20 minutes of walking a day. We do like a 10-minute walk in the morning just to kind of get moving, bracing your core. And then if we have time, we'll either do one before we start training or in the evening. So unfortunately, that's my baseline. So I will have to keep that up. Yeah, or I'll have to get a little bit more aggressive potentially with my nutrition.
But you've got enough room to move.
Yeah, I have a lot of flexibility, yeah.
So that's where we're starting, guys. If you have any questions about how we set this up, just buy the book. But no, just kidding. You can ask us in the comments below.
Yes.
Make sure to share, like, subscribe. Did I cover everything that everybody begs for?
Yeah.
To her channel, my channel, and we'll be keeping you guys updated throughout this prep. And let's go get them.
Holy crap! I'm about to die.